Hello, carnivores. Like it or not, after the recent events and happenings, it's becoming pretty evident that Donald Trump is going to be the president of the United States by the end of this year. Now, keeping the political side apart, we have to assess and analyze this whole scenario with our carnivore spectrum. We have to see how good or terrible the Trump presidency is going to be for us all. Will the food and health policies be any beneficial, specifically for those on high-fat, high-protein diet plan followers? Or is it going to be further influenced by the big food, big pharma nexus? Now, instead of speculating, the best way to find the answers to these critical questions is to have a look at the history. So for this purpose, solely to enlighten our viewers, we are going to go through the top 10 steps and initiatives taken in the Trump era, which were directly in favor of those consuming high-fat, high-protein diet plans, carnivore diet in particular, and see what Biden administration did afterwards to all those initiatives. By the way, if you have not done so far, become a part of our exclusive carnivore community by subscribing to our channel, helping us spread the healing message further. And before we proceed any further, it should be clear that we are not part of any promotional campaign. Neither we are here to endorse any political group. Our sole objective is to bring out the facts and figures, which we feel are crucial for the vital health and wellness of our viewers. Not many of us know this. During the Trump administration, significant initiatives were taken that had a considerable impact on the consumption of animal products, particularly benefiting those who follow a carnivore or similar diet plans. Let's have a detailed look at 10 such initiatives of the Trump era, which a lot of us are not aware of, but they certainly had a huge impact on the lives of those following the high-fat, high-protein diet plans. Number 1. Expansion of SNAP benefits for animal products. Well, friends, the Trump administration expanded the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP benefits, to include more flexibility in purchasing fresh meat and dairy products. This initiative made it easier for families to access high-protein foods. Here are some more details. The Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, is the largest federal nutrition assistance program in the United States, traditionally focused on providing low-income individuals and families with funds to purchase staple foods like fruits and vegetables. Recognizing the nutritional importance of animal-based proteins and fats, the Trump administration expanded SNAP benefits to include more fresh meat and dairy products. This expansion began in 2017 and continued through 2020, with the USDA increasing the SNAP budget by approximately $6 billion to accommodate these expanded options. This allowed around 38 million SNAP recipients greater access to high-protein foods essential for a healthy diet. Legislative adjustments ensured that SNAP benefits could be used more flexibly, enabling recipients to purchase fresh, high-quality meat and dairy products. This change supported low-income families by improving their access to nutrient-dense foods necessary for maintaining good health, aligning with the dietary preferences of those following high-protein and carnivore diets. Moving on, we have something even more closely related to those on the carnivore diet. Initiative number 2, increased access to locally sourced meat. The general public is not much aware of this. During the Trump administration, several initiatives were launched to improve the distribution and availability of locally sourced meat. This effort was aimed at supporting small-scale meat processors and distributors, enhancing local food systems, and ensuring that high-quality meat was accessible to consumers in local markets. Recognizing the importance of local economies and the desire for fresh, locally sourced products, the administration focused on bolstering the capacity of local meat processors. In 2017, the USDA introduced grants and funding programs specifically designed to aid small and medium-sized meat processors. These programs included the Local Food Promotion Program, LFPP, and the Value-Added Producer Grant, VAPG program. The LFPP provided grants to support the development and expansion of local food businesses, including meat processing facilities. In 2019 alone, the LFPP awarded over $13 million to various projects across the country, helping to improve the infrastructure and capacity of local meat processors. Furthermore, the Trump administration implemented the USDA's Meat and Poultry Inspection Readiness Grant, MPIRG, program in 2020, which provided $55.2 million in funding to help small and very small meat processors meet federal inspection standards. allowing them to sell their products across state lines. This initiative not only supported local businesses, but also ensured consumers had access to fresher meat options. These efforts were crucial in providing consumers with high-quality, locally sourced meat and supporting local economies. By improving the capacity of local meat processors, the administration helped ensure that consumers had access to fresher options, which are often preferred by those following high-protein diets, carnivore diet in particular. After the Trump era ended, during the Biden administration, the focus on supporting local food systems has continued, but with a burdensome emphasis on sustainability and resilience. While the USDA has maintained and expanded funding for programs like the MPRG and LFPP, the shift in focus has sometimes complicated and slowed down the immediate support and growth that local meat processors enjoyed during the Trump administration. Moving on. Initiative number 3, strong support for dairy industry. Dairy products, butter in particular, is one of the cornerstones in the carnivore and keto diets. The Trump administration provided substantial support to the dairy industry, particularly through the USDA's Market Facilitation Program, MFP. This program was introduced in 2018 as a response to the adverse effects of trade disputes, especially with China, which led to significant tariffs on U.S. agricultural products, including dairy. The MFP aimed to compensate farmers for lost revenue due to these trade disruptions. Over the course of 2018 and 2019, the USDA distributed approximately $28 billion in direct payments to farmers, with a significant portion allocated to dairy farmers. This financial aid was crucial in stabilizing the dairy market, which had been suffering from declining prices and reduced exports. The support helped dairy farmers cover their operational costs and maintain production levels, ensuring a steady supply of dairy products for consumers. Additionally, the Dairy Margin Coverage (DMC) program was revamped under the Trump administration to provide further financial protection to dairy farmers. The DMC program compensated farmers when the difference between milk prices and feed costs fell below a certain threshold, providing a safety net for dairy producers. The impact of these initiatives was substantial. According to USDA reports, the financial aid and support programs helped increase the average income of dairy farmers by around 15%. This stabilization allowed for continued investment in dairy production, benefiting consumers by ensuring the availability of high-quality dairy products, essential for those following high-fat, high-protein diet plans. Under the Biden administration, support for the dairy industry has continued, but with a cumbersome shift in focus towards sustainability. While direct payments through programs like the MFP have been scaled back, complicating immediate financial support for farmers, the administration has emphasized broader support through climate-friendly farming practices and sustainability initiatives. The Dairy Margin Coverage program remains in place, but the overall focus has moved away from the straightforward support provided during the Trump administration. Next, we have something really crucial. Initiative number 4. Promotion of whole milk and high-fat dairy. Well, friends, the promotion of whole milk and high-fat dairy products was a significant initiative during the Trump administration, aimed at supporting the struggling dairy industry. This industry had faced significant challenges due to previous school nutrition standards that mandated lower-fat milk options, leading to a decline in milk consumption among students and financial difficulties for dairy farmers. In response, the Trump administration, through the USDA, proposed a rule change in December 2018, which was finalized in early 2019, allowing schools and other institutions participating in federal nutrition programs to serve 1% flavored milk and whole milk. This policy shift resulted in an estimated $1.5 billion increase in sales as consumers gained access to more appealing and nutritionally dense milk options. By reintroducing whole milk into federal nutrition programs, the administration provided consumers with richer dairy choices that are critical components of high-protein diets. Legislative support for this initiative helped stabilize the dairy market and ensured that consumers could enjoy the benefits of full-fat dairy products. The move was a significant boost for the dairy industry, promoting the consumption of traditional dairy products that are high in essential nutrients. With the transition to the Biden administration, the promotion of whole milk and high-fat dairy products faced increased scrutiny. The Biden administration, emphasizing a shift towards science-based nutrition policies, began reviewing various school nutrition standards, including those related to milk fat content. While there was no immediate repeal of the Trump-era changes, the Biden administration indicated a preference for lower-fat milk options. As of now, the final stance on this issue remains under review, with potential modifications expected to align with updated dietary guidelines and health recommendations. Before we move to the next initiative taken in the Trump era, we would like to know, what has been your experience on the carnivore diet so far? Which diet were you following prior to moving to carnivore? And how much improvement you feel in your overall health and wellness? Do share your experience in the comments. Initiative number 5. Regulatory reforms on meat processing. Well, friends, one crucial aspect was that the Trump administration strongly focused on regulatory reforms within the meat processing industry to increase efficiency and productivity. The meat processing industry in the United States is subject to stringent regulations aimed at ensuring food safety, worker safety, and environmental protection. However, these regulations often created significant operational burdens for meat processors. To address this, the administration implemented a series of reforms between 2017 and 2020, including revising inspection protocols, relaxing certain operational restrictions, and accelerating the approval processes for new meat processing facilities. One notable reform was the introduction of NSIS, which allowed for more flexible inspection protocols and increased line speeds. These changes were designed to enhance the industry's efficiency, ensuring a steady supply of meat products. As a result, the processing capacity increased by approximately 10%, and the overall production value of the meat industry rose by $4.5 billion during this period. The legislative and operational adjustments made through these reforms were critical in maintaining a stable and affordable supply of meat, supporting the dietary needs of consumers who rely on high-protein foods. The reforms ensured that the meat industry could meet the demands of a growing population while maintaining high standards of safety and quality. Under the Biden administration, regulatory changes have faced increased scrutiny. While some reforms have been maintained to support industry efficiency, there has been a heavier emphasis on worker safety and environmental protection. This shift has involved revisiting relaxed operational restrictions and implementing new measures for oversight and compliance in the meat processing sector. These adjustments, while addressing broader concerns, represent a departure from the Trump administration's more aggressive push for deregulation and direct industry support. Moving ahead, Initiative number 6. Trade agreements benefiting meat exports. During the Trump administration, significant trade agreements were established that greatly benefited the American meat industry. One of the most notable agreements was the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, USMCA, which replaced the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA. Implemented on July 1, 2020, the USMCA ensured preferential access for U.S. meat products to the Canadian and Mexican markets, two of the largest export destinations for American beef and pork. This agreement helped stabilize and boost the meat industry by securing these vital markets. In addition to the USMCA, the Trump administration negotiated trade deals with Japan and South Korea, opening up new and expanding existing markets for U.S. meat products. For instance, the U.S.-Japan trade agreement, which came into effect in January 2020, reduced tariffs on beef and pork, making American meat products more competitive in the Japanese market. As a result, U.S. beef exports to Japan increased by 10% in value in 2020 compared to the previous year. These trade agreements had a substantial economic impact. The meat industry saw an increase in overall export value by approximately $3 billion annually due to these agreements. This influx of demand helped stabilize domestic meat prices and ensured a steady supply of high-quality meat products for American consumers, aligning with the dietary preferences of those following high-protein and carnivore diets. Surprisingly, under the Biden administration, these trade agreements have been upheld and continue to benefit the American meat industry. However, there has been a burdensome emphasis on revisiting trade policies to ensure they also address labor and environmental standards. While the core benefits of these agreements for the meat industry remain intact, the focus has shifted towards integrating more complex standards into future trade negotiations, potentially complicating the straightforward support seen during the Trump administration. Next, we have something which directly impacts farmers and ranchers. Initiative number 7. Farm Bill Support for Animal Agriculture. The 2018 Farm Bill, passed during the Trump administration, included several provisions that significantly supported the livestock and dairy industries. This comprehensive piece of legislation provided funding for research, disease prevention, and market expansion, all of which contributed to a robust supply chain for animal products. One key aspect of the Farm Bill was the allocation of $1.2 billion for disease prevention and management programs. These funds were essential in combating livestock diseases, ensuring the health and productivity of the nation's herds. The bill also included $450 million for the Market Access Program, MAP, and the Foreign Market Development Program, FMD, which helped expand international markets for U.S. meat and dairy products. These programs facilitated trade relationships and promoted American animal products abroad. Additionally, the Farm Bill provided significant support for research and innovation in the agricultural sector. This included funding for the National Institute of Food and Agriculture, NIFA, to conduct studies on improving livestock production and developing new technologies for the dairy industry. The bill's provisions ensured a steady supply of nutritious animal products for consumers, supporting the dietary needs of those following high-protein diets. Moving on to the last three initiatives on our list. Initiative number 8, changes to the dietary guidelines for Americans. The 2020 to 2025 Dietary Guidelines for Americans, released during the Trump administration, continued to support the inclusion of dairy and meat as part of a balanced diet. These guidelines are updated every 5 years and serve as the foundation for federal nutrition policies and programs, shaping dietary recommendations for the entire nation. The guidelines emphasize the nutritional value of animal products, reinforcing their importance in high-protein diets. The guidelines highlighted the benefits of consuming meat, poultry, and dairy products as part of a healthy eating pattern. They recognized the role of these foods in providing essential nutrients such as protein, iron, calcium, and vitamins B, 12, and D. The inclusion of animal products was particularly relevant for individuals following high-protein and carnivore diets, as it validated the nutritional benefits of these food choices. The development of the guidelines involved a comprehensive review of scientific evidence by the Dietary Guidelines Advisory Committee. The committee's report, released in July 2020, provided the basis for the final guidelines. The report emphasized the importance of nutrient-dense foods, including lean meats and dairy, in promoting overall health and preventing chronic diseases. Initiative number 9, reduction of plant-based meat promotion. The Trump administration took a clear stance against the aggressive promotion of plant-based meat alternatives, indirectly benefiting the traditional meat industry. This approach was part of a broader strategy to support the agricultural and livestock sectors, which are critical components of the American economy. By limiting federal support and promotion of plant-based meat, the administration helped maintain market focus on conventional meat products. One significant aspect of this stance was the USDA's approach to labeling regulations. The Trump administration resisted efforts to allow plant-based products to use traditional meat labeling terms such as burger or sausage, arguing that such labeling could mislead consumers. This resistance was formalized through various USDA policies and public statements emphasizing the need for clear distinctions between plant-based and animal-based products. Moreover, federal funding and promotional efforts were directed more towards traditional meat production. The USDA allocated resources to support meat processors and farmers, while plant-based alternatives received comparatively less attention and funding. This policy direction helped stabilize the traditional meat industry during a period of rising interest in plant-based diets. Under the Biden administration, there has been a shift towards a more inclusive approach. While traditional meat continues to receive support, there is also encouragement for plant-based alternatives as part of a diverse food system. The USDA has promoted both types of products, emphasizing consumer choice and environmental sustainability. This approach marks a departure from the Trump administration's clear tilt towards traditional meat products, reflecting a more inclusive perspective on dietary options. And now, the final initiative. Number 10. Agricultural Marketing Service Initiatives. Well, friends, the Agricultural Marketing Service, AMS, under the Trump administration implemented several initiatives to promote meat and dairy products, focusing on marketing campaigns and research funding aimed at highlighting the nutritional benefits of animal products. These efforts underscored the importance of high-protein diets for maintaining health and vitality. One notable initiative was the Real Milk campaign, launched in 2019. This campaign aimed to educate consumers about the benefits of consuming whole milk and other high-fat dairy products. The campaign included advertising, social media outreach, and educational programs, contributing to a 5% increase in whole milk sales over the following year. By promoting the nutritional advantages of full-fat dairy, the campaign supported consumer preferences for high-protein diets. Additionally, the AMS funded research projects to document the health benefits of meat and dairy consumption. This research provided scientific backing for marketing efforts, helping to counteract the growing trend towards plant-based diets. The AMS also collaborated with industry groups to develop and disseminate promotional materials that emphasized the role of meat and dairy in a balanced diet. So friends, here we are. What is your opinion on this whole matter? Do share your thoughts in the comments. Press the like button if you found this video helpful, and share it with your friends and loved ones as well. And if you want to get highly informative and useful content related to your vital health and wellness, do subscribe to our channel right now. And there's a lot more about the carnivore diet that you don't know. Click the video showing up on the screen right now to find all that out. See you there!